taking responsibility and finding meaning, if you're willing to take on responsibility, what's the alternative? Well, you could just complain about being a victim and try to bring down people who are willing to take more responsibility than you. It's a nasty game. I believe the world is built so that each person plays an important role. Every time someone gets their life together, it's great. That's going to have way more positive effects than you think and prevent a lot of trouble because someone who goes bad can do incredible damage. Many people tell me their lives have been transformed. They've gone from a bad place where they were really lost and hopeless. They decided they were going to do something with their life. I tweeted something today that a young man wrote to me. He said 2 years ago, he didn't have any friends. He didn't have a romantic relationship. He didn't know where he was going in his life. He didn't have a job. Nothing was going well for him. Now he's doing a philosophy degree in his second year. He has a good job. He's got a girlfriend. He has friends who care for him. He put his life back together. I hear this kind of story from people all the time. People stop me on the street and tell me this, which is wonderful. I'll be walking down the street in a city I've never been to, and someone will come up and say they're sorry to bother me. They're not bothering me because people are very polite. They say they weren't in a good place a year or two ago. They've been trying to put their life together. They've been listening to my lectures. And here are a bunch of things that are way better for them. That's great. The more of that, the better. I think that's the right way forward. This is why I don't really see myself as a political person. It's so interesting to see people's responses after my talks. After watching my lectures, people come up to me every night because I talk to about 150 people a night after the talks. So many of them are happy because they've put their lives on solid ground because they found some encouragement in my lectures. I tell them, look, it's good for you to take your place in the world, have some ambition, have a vision, have a goal, have a strategy. Try to be a good person, not because it's your duty, but because that's the proper way to live. The dangerous truth about life, one of the most dangerous things you can realize is that the world doesn't always reward good people. Being innocent doesn't guarantee protection, and real bitter injustice sometimes wins. That's a terrifying thing to know. The book of Job doesn't avoid this truth. Job is a good man, upright, righteous. Even God says so. Satan makes a bet with God, saying, take everything away from Job and he'll curse you. God says, all right, try it. Let's see what happens. So Job loses everything. His children, his wealth, his health, everything that gave his life structure. Not because he sinned or deserved it, but simply because he was part of a cosmic test. This alone is enough to destroy most people, to realize that even if you do everything right, even if you are humble, honest, and generous, there's no final. Protection against disaster. That's dangerous knowledge. It can twist you, make you bitter and cynical. You could shake your fist at the sky and say, what's the point? Yet Job doesn't curse God. He holds on to something deeper than belief. His integrity. He says, I will not lie to comfort you. I will not pretend guilt to get relief. He stands alone in pain and confusion, but not in surrender. That's the real test. Not whether you believe when things are good, but whether you still stand for truth when the world breaks beneath you. Because that's what suffering does. It strips everything down until all that's left is who you really are underneath. Job chooses to remain honest, not because he is naive, but because the alternative is spiritual suicide. He doesn't know why it's happening. He's angry, he's lost, but he doesn't abandon what's good. Maybe that's what this story is trying to teach us. That even when innocent people suffer, even when unjust people walk free, and even when God himself offers no answer, there's still a path forward. Not through understanding, but through integrity. That's what redeems the chaos. The need for noble purpose life is so difficult. There's so much suffering, it's so complex. It ends and everyone dies and it's painful. Without a noble purpose, how can you handle any of that? It can't. You become desperate. Once you become desperate, things go from bad to worse very quickly. So there's the idea of having a noble purpose. It's not just something nice to have, it's necessary. It's the bread that people cannot live without, not physical bread, but spiritual bread. What is that? It was shown in part in the story of Marduk. Is to pay attention, it's to speak properly, it's to confront chaos, it's to make a better world. Something like that. That's enough of a noble purpose so that you can stand up without cringing at the very thought of your own existence, so that you can do something worthwhile to justify your difficult position on the planet. There's a deep idea in the West too. Pick up your suffering and bear it and try to be a good person so you don't make it worse. That's a truth. There's this idea that hell is a bottomless pit. That's because no matter how bad it is, someone could figure out a way to make it a lot worse, Dot. So what do you do about that? You accept it. That's what life is like. It's suffering. That's what religious people have always said. Life is suffering. Yes, who wants to admit that? Just think about it. So what do you do in the face of that suffering? Try to reduce it, Dot. Start with yourself. What good are you? Get yourself together so that when your father dies, you're not crying in a corner, and you can help plan the funeral and you can stand up solidly so that people can rely on you. That's better. Don't be a victim. Of course you're a victim, obviously. But put yourself together. Choosing meaning over ease things are complicated and fixing things is really hard. How do you overcome the suffering of life? Be a better person. That's how you do it. You want to have a meaningful life? Everything you do matters. That's the definition of a meaningful life. But everything you do matters, so you're going to have to carry that responsibility with you, Doc. Or do you want to just forget about the whole meaning thing? Then you don't have any responsibility because who cares? And you can wander through life doing whatever you want, satisfying impulsive desires. See how useful that's going to be. You're stuck in meaninglessness, but you don't have any responsibility. Which one do you want? Ask yourself, which one are you actually pursuing? You'll find very quickly that it isn't the majority of your soul. That's pursuing the whole meaning thing, because look what you have to do for that. You have to accept that life is suffering. You have to put yourself together in the face of that. That's hard. Faith through action. The way you strengthen your faith in life is to assume the best. Something like that. And then to act courageously in relationship to that. That's the same as expressing your faith in the highest possible good. It's the same as expressing your faith in God. It's not a matter of saying, well, I believe in the existence of a supreme being, because in some sense, who cares what you believe? I mean, you might care and all that, but that's not the real issue. The issue, it seems to me, is how you act.